In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program on LancasterOhio.tv. We're also carried by a number of radio affiliates. We're into our 16th year on radio and about 8 or 9 on television. And so what a wonderful opportunity it is for the Sheriff's Office to share things going on with not only within our office but throughout the community. And the program is produced here at Fairfield Christian Academy. Our executive producer, Kelly Roberts. Backed by popular demand is Lieutenant Alex Lape, our Patrol Bureau Commander, 24-year veteran, and welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
How long have you been associated with the SWAT team?
I believe since 1999. So total.
Since its inception?
Yes.
With the Sheriff's Office?
For the most part, yes. I've been the commander of that unit since 2006.
What are some of the things that have changed as far as some of the tactics that when you started, or has it kind of been the same, or have you had to change some things over the years?
Well, we've changed a lot of things, actually. I believe that we've refined and professionalized the unit, where before it may not it definitely wasn't to the standard that it is today. We have a better training regimen. We have better quality of training. We have better equipment. Some of the tasks that we're given, they're done in a more professional manner. We have policies, protocol, documentation, all that stuff is just so much better than it's ever been in the past, in my opinion. And
training's an important element, right?
It is. We try to get training whenever we can, and it's a multifaceted thing. So we're trying to prepare for the worst contingencies that people could imagine, and some of the training covers a lot of that. And it's an ongoing learning thing. If you think, well, I made it to the SWAT team and I'm all done, then you're wrong, because that's just the beginning of it. We do a selection typically every 1 to 2 years, and our potential candidates a lot of times are picked based on their ability to navigate some stress inoculation drills and some things like that that's going to tax them both not only physically but also mentally. Typically, it's obvious when you're watching these who the good performers are, and once they complete that, and then they go to a basics SWAT school after that, and then after the basic, then there's advanced, and then during all that, then there's a constant training that goes on a regular basis. So if somebody would make the team and think that they're done training, they're wrong. It's just starting.
And unlike some larger police organizations where they have a SWAT team that's 24/7, that's right. What they do. We have our SWAT guys and gals come from the Detective Bureau, the road, everywhere, right?
Yeah, we have a team that's defined as a collateral team. That their primary responsibility is not SWAT. It could be a jail supervisor, a patrol deputy, a school resource officer. They have their primary assignment that they're responsible to do, and if they're available, then they respond.
And over the years, is there any particular situation that comes to mind that was kind of pretty hairy, so to speak?
Well, we try to mitigate and minimize any kind of issues that might come up. It's a fact-finding thing. Anytime we're going to go out in the field and take on any kind of challenge like that, we want to minimize any kind of potential for things to go bad.
Right.
So we're doing a lot of research on, if it's an individual person, say we're looking at in a high-risk search warrant or something like that, we're definitely doing our homework. We know what this person might be capable of doing, so we're prepared for that in that event.
So there's those situations where there's maybe a hostage, maybe there's a shooter or something like that, where it's But there's also situations where you have a little bit of time, like if you're doing a high-risk warrant, so you can plan a little bit more for those.
And that's where I believe that things have really been refined over the years, is in the planning portions of what our mission is and what the SWAT team is all about. We're more professional in that respect.
Yeah, and I think back early in my career where they didn't have a SWAT team, and so and how even the dynamics have changed within the last 10 years as far as how we handle a school situation or a hostage situation or an active shooter in a school.
Yeah, back in the day, you get the biggest, toughest guys, and you go take care of whatever needed to be taken care of. But today, it's not necessarily like that. Most of the people are average physical size, build. It's kind of amazing when you start looking at who some of the people are that are really good performers in that type of work, and it's not the person that you would envision. On our team currently, we have 2 female deputies that are as tough as any of the guys that are on the team, and they can definitely hold their own on one-on-one situations. So, and they're smart too. So that's a change, I think, in what a lot of people think. It's not what has been termed as a goon squad in years past. These people were actually analytical operators, and they don't. They wouldn't look like it if you met them on the surface. So they're all well-mannered and well-behaved.
Changing topics a little bit, I know within the last few months the Sheriff's Office is changing the type of vehicles. We had the Dodge Chargers for several years, but now we're going to the Ford Explorers.
Yep. We're currently outfitting 7. Some of our other units have already gotten these type vehicles, and so it's a new thing. It's a kind of a challenge every time you're making a change like that, because we like to try to be resourceful and to reuse some of the same equipment from years over. So there's a bit of a cost involved in changing the entire lineup of the vehicle. We have to buy new screens for inside the car. We just have to outfit the whole thing completely top to bottom. So we don't get to use our old stuff. We will continue to use that stuff in some of the reserve cars and so forth, but there's always that additional expense anytime you change over. But in changing to the 4-wheel drive vehicle, we no longer will need to purchase the amount of studded snow tires that we did, and that's a considerable cost savings. It actually will save money in the long run by not using those studded snow tires. In the course of one winter season, we'll probably go through 3 sets of studded snow tires on one frontline car. So, and they're not cheap.
Yeah, and I think people are surprised about the amount of miles that we put on these cars, because unlike your car at home where you drive to work and back or whatever, these cars are 24/7,
right.
So they put a lot of miles on. There are a lot of wear and tear on those vehicles, and for many years the Ford Crown Vic was the police car,
right.
And then they quit making it, and they've kind of changed to the Dodge Explorer, and now we're going more, or the Dodge Charger. Now we're going more to the Ford Explorer.
Yeah, it's for our purposes in the county, because we go from one extreme to the other in Fairfield County. We have the urban areas in the northern parts of the county, and then we still have the rural areas in the southern parts of the county. There are people that are surprised to find out that there are still dirt roads in our county, and this type of vehicle is going to provide a better service in that respect. It's more suitable for those kind of road surfaces, and also it'll work inside the urban areas as well. But to comment back on what you said about the amount of miles, if you think about this vehicle's running 24/7 for the most part, they're averaging about 500 miles every 24 hours on these cars. So it's a lot quicker when it's time for an oil change. We do that pretty regularly, keep all maintenance, and everything that needs to be done on these cars. They're inspected by the duty officer and the deputy every day before they take it out. So it's that's their home for 8 hours. That's their office. That's their place of refuge, so they need to keep them clean and keep them well equipped and stocked. So that's their responsibility to do that.
Great. Recently, we moved into a new building.
Yeah.
And that's kind of changed a lot of things within the
Right.
sheriff's office.
It's kind of changed the whole dynamic of our operation because of the fact that at one time we were in 3 different locations. Now everybody's in the same building, where before we would not have the ability to just walk down the hall and talk to somebody. It would require maybe sending a letter or an email or, driving to the other building. Now you can just take a minute stroll down the building and get your question answered pretty quickly, which is very helpful as far as efficiency.
I couldn't agree with you more. We are able now to, once we identify a concern from a citizen or I get something from the press or whatever, I walk into the radio room, I walk down to your office, I walk down to civil, and we can take care of it in minutes sometimes.
Yeah. There has to be, I haven't really looked at it in great detail, but I know just by how fast things are happening now that the citizens have to notice it as well, as far as the efficiency, somebody getting back to them, giving them a call back or whatever. It's really changed because in the past a lot of times things would be rendered to a written form, put in the inter-office mail, carried by one of the civil gals from one building to the other, and then delivered. So there was maybe a day or 2 lag time sometimes in getting that information, where now it's minutes.
And the patrol division is next door to the detective bureau, so we have more interaction there, just by virtue of their location.
Yeah, it helps a lot. If there's a question to be asked about an incident where it was investigated initially by the patrol, it's just so much more convenient with everybody being in the same location.
And I was surprised, Lieutenant, I know you were there that day when we had the ribbon cutting a few months ago. The number of people that showed up for a tour of the jail and the sheriff's office. It was truly amazing.
Yeah, there were more people than we anticipated. So we recruited some additional tour guides, and myself included, and we spent the better part of the day doing tours with the public. And it's their jail, it's their facility, so I guess there's
been estimates of 400 or 500 people.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. It could have been more. Yeah, I know I ran 3 groups of about 50 people through there myself. So I think it might have been a little higher.
It was a great day.
Yeah, it was good.
And we're appreciative of the citizens of Fairfield County that it's through their support through the system that we're able to have a facility like we do.
They do.
Well overdue, and it's just terrific facilities.
It is. It's good. It's nice to have, one time we had prisoners in the jail at 3 different locations, and that was problematic all on its own. Now everybody's at one place. The citizens who want to come and visit their loved one that might be in the jail, they come to one place. They don't have to try to figure out where they're at. So it's just an all around a good thing.
We're out of time.
Okay.
Lieutenant Alex Lape, our guest the last couple of weeks, do appreciate him and the service he gives to this community. 24 years of service. Well, the clock on the wall says we're out of time. Until next week, same time, same place. God bless. If you're out there driving, buckle up.